What's going on, guys? Jerry Yap here. Today we have off angle number 24. We're making an Overwatch tier list based on each character's movement ability. We're kind of just putting them on a tier list here because I have no content. I just had a really busy weekend. I couldn't really prepare the mainline episode I wanted to talk about this week, so we're just going to run with this real quick. Next week should be back to normal, so let's get right into the action here. So let me just go through the tiers really quickly. We have the schmoving tier list, which obviously characters with the highest rate of mobility, your obvious ones are going to go in there. We have the pretty good tier, which is, it's pretty good. You can't complain, man. It's just pretty good. We have the decent tier list where it's like, okay, yeah, it's a decent ability. It's nothing crazy. We have the, it's something tier, which is, it's something. It's some sort of movement. So, some characters are going to go there. And then we have the snail tier, which is absolutely no movement abilities. So, our snails are going to go in this category. So starting off with Anna. Obviously, going to go right into the snail tier. Obviously has no movement abilities, so not much to say there. As far as Ashe, her only movement is the coach gun, but it's a decent ability. You can get high ground with this thing. You can knock divers away with this. You can just knock anybody away with it. So it kind of has like a double combo meaning there. And for that, it goes in the tier. It's not pretty good because, it's not really a movement ability per se. It's more of a defense tool. So it's going to go in the decent category. It's pretty good. It's pretty decent, Next, we have Baptiste. Now, Baptiste has his exo boots. He can grab high ground with them. I would say it's a decent ability as well. It's not really crazy like horizontal movement or anything, but it's really good vertical mobility. And with Baptiste in general, he can get up top, throw his window down, get a quick pick. And for that reason, it's pretty... Actually, you know what? I'm putting it in pretty good. I think exo boots are pretty good, man. You can evade Doomfist dive. You can evade Winston dive. You can grab high ground yourself, like I already said. It's so good, guys. Baptiste in general, just paired with the rest of his kit, is just insane. Next, we have Bastion. His movement is with his grenade, right? His Ace 36 tactical grenade. I'm going to put it in the decent tier. It's pretty good comboed with the fact that you can just surprise people with that turret. You can literally throw the grenade down, grab a crazy angle, and just mow somebody down with the turret instantly when they're not expecting it. If he didn't have the turret and you couldn't combo it like that, I would say, it's something, but I think it's pretty decent, man, for that surprise factor. So we're going to leave Bastion in the decent tier. Now, Brig, her only mobility is her shield bash and her ultimate where she moves faster. I don't know, man. I think I'm going to put it in the decent tier. It's pretty decent. She can get up in people's faces and with that rally and kind of just tank a bit of damage with it. And she can move faster to chase somebody down and maybe whip them from far away, which you couldn't have if you weren't ulting. Oh, also, yeah, of course, her shield bash can get you out of like Sigma ult. It can get you out of Mei freeze. It's a decent ability, guys. It has a lot of mobility. It kind of baits you into thinking you want to use it offensively as a bash, but it on the contrary, it's way better used as a mobility tool to get out of a lot of situations. So, Brig, we're gonna leave her in the decent tier. Has decent mobility. Now, Cassidy's an interesting one, right? Because Cassidy, his movement ability is the combat roll. As we all know, it reloads your weapon and you get some damage resistance during it. And for that reason, guys, I'm going to say it's pretty good. You can literally tank pulse bombs with this. You can tank some diva bombs depending on the distance with this. It reloads your gun, so you're ready to keep fighting as soon as it's over. It doesn't get you any vertical mobility per se, but there are some situations in some maps where you can use this to cross a gap where you can't with other characters. And for that reason, it's pretty good considering that it also reloads your weapon and gives you damage resistance as well. Doomfist. I don't think this needs much explanation. He's a schmovement god, Doomfist is always schmoving around. He's got that rocket punch. The empowered punch takes you even farther. The seismic slam has a lot of vertical mobility you can get with it too. Your alt meteor strike, you can literally land on top of buildings and stuff with it and take your enemies by surprise. There is literally no reason that Doomfist should be any lower than schmoving. Diva. I want to put her in schmoving too, right? those boosters can get you anywhere. They can get you high ground. You can quickly evade stuff. You can quickly get behind walls. Yeah, Diva's moving around the map, man. She's maybe I'll put it in pretty good because it's not the fastest and it's predictable. Yeah, I'll leave Diva. I might change my mind later, but I'm going to leave Diva in pretty good for now. So Echo. Echo obviously has the glide ability, kind of similar to Mercy, where if you hold space and you're falling, you can glide down slowly, but her real movement comes from her booster ability. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but yeah, we're going to throw that immediately into pretty good because it's pretty good, man. You can get all sorts of crazy angles. You can fly across gaps inside certain maps. You can get certain high grounds. I mean, it's just a good ability. You can farm from far away with Echo, up top, up in the sky. So it's pretty good for that, man. I can't lie. Now, Genji. Genji's an interesting one, right? Because he just has the double... He has a double jump and he has the dash. I don't know if I would say he's really schmoovin' though. His movement, again, it's pretty predictable once you know the dash distance. His real movement comes from dash resets. If you play against a good Genji who can capitalize on those dash resets, then I would put him up into schmooving. But, you know, I feel like there's just not all that opportunity to get resets and be a schmoovement god. Obviously, during his ult, you know, he can get resets pretty quickly. But I don't think he's a schmoovement guy, you know? So we're going to leave him in the pretty good tier. It's pretty good mobility, guys. Nothing else to say. We got Hanzo next. Hanzo, the other Shimada brother. I mean, he has a wall climb, can grab vertical mobility. That's really it, though. He has a lunge, but I mean, it's not really all that great. I would put it in decent. You know, you can climb away from certain enemies and disengage. You can climb up to certain platforms, certain high grounds, and have a good power position. So, yeah, decent movement ability. Junker Queen. Junker Queen shout. It's, you know, it's her only form of movement besides her ult. You know what? I didn't consider her ult, and you can just get a quick dash with her ult, and they recently just buffed it too, so the cast time takes a shorter amount of time. So we're gonna leave her decent. I think it's a decent ability. Her movement is decent, right? That quick dash on the ult, and then she can give boost to her teammates with that commanding shout. So I feel like it's a pretty decent ability. So we're gonna leave her in this tier. Junkrat. This might be controversial, but I think Junkrat has pretty good movement, man. Those concussion mines, especially when you throw one on the ground, wait for the charge to come back, and then you have 3 of them to use at your disposal, and then to surprise somebody with the rip tire flank. I think it's really good. Really, really good movement here. So is it a little predictable? Yes, it is. But I mean, allowing Junkrat to get up top, get on those high ground power positions, I'm retarded, is pretty good, man. So you can't go wrong with the junk movement. It's not bad here. Kiriko, pretty good, man. Has a teleport, can go through walls, get yourself out of any sticky situation possible, not to mention the wall climb as well. Get up to high grounds, power positions, like I said before. Not too much else to say there, man. Kiriko has crazy movement. I wouldn't say it's, you know, it's predictable. You know, she can't move at will, and it's not very fast mobility, right? So I think it's pretty good. We'll put it in the pretty good tier. Lucio, no explanation needed. He is schmoovin', man. Has the wall ride. You tell the bad Lucios from the good Lucios very, very easily, depending on how they move. The Lucios with the crazy schmovement, they have rollouts. You know, think of the Ilios, not Ilios, but Lijiang Tower Garden. You know, that map, Lucios can roll out in a matter of seconds and boop the whole team off the map. They can get in the skybox. There's not much to say, man. I don't have to elaborate. Lucio be schmoovin'. Lucio be schmoovin'. Okay, now May's an interesting one because she doesn't really have mobility, right? She has the ice wall where she can prop herself up and get, you know, certain angles and certain high grounds, but it's not really a movement ability, you know? I want to leave it in that, I mean, it's something tier, but there really is very few uses where you can use the wall to get up on a certain like platform. Like King's Row first point to get up on those high grounds on the right side, I guess, but I don't know. I guess I'll just leave it in that, I mean, it's something tier because I mean, technically it is a form of like vertical mobility. So for that reason, the fact that it's there, I mean, it's something. Mercy. I mean, I got to throw in this movement here. Some Mercies, you know, they have the crazy Guardian Angels, the super jump. I mean, it's a little easier to do now, right? During her ult, she just flies around like crazy, super hard to hit, a lot of mobility. You see those crazy Mercies that can res behind walls and stuff with their movement, or use their the GA to pop up and get a res. It's just really good, man. Mercy's another one of those characters like Lucio, where if you see the good ones with the good movement, it's like so annoying and so just annoying to deal with. So yeah, Mercy, she got the schmoves, man. I'm gonna leave her in the schmovement list there. Moira, let's see. I'd say it's decent. Fade is really decent. You know, they gave it a buff a long time ago to, it never used to be able to jump higher, but now that it does, I mean, I say now that it does, like it's a recent buff, but yeah, you can use that mobility to, like I said, take certain angles, take weird angles, surprise your enemies. Fade itself is just a solid ability to get out of jail free. And she does have a little bit of movement with her ult too. She gets a little bit of a movement speed bonus with that ult. So for that reason, I think it's a decent ability. I can't leave it down here because it's actually, I kind of tempted to put it in pretty good, to be honest. I mean, the fact that it is a get out of jail free card as well, unlike some of these ones that aren't really a get out of jail free card, yeah, I gotta leave it up in the pretty good. So Moira, pretty good mobility. Orisa, I mean, there's not much to say. The javelin spin, it makes you go slightly faster, but that's all it does. You know, it also eats projectiles, but I really wouldn't consider that part of the movement itself. The movement, like I said, moves you slightly faster, but that's really it. That's all it does. So, I mean, it's something. Farah, obviously she's a flyer, has pretty good movement, has the hover jets. They just recently gave her a dash with a rework, so we can throw that in as well. I wouldn't say she's schmoving because her movement is pretty predictable for the most part. So, yeah, we'll leave it in the pretty good tier along with the other flyer Echo. Just a solid, solid movement character. Has a lot of movement. Moving on to Reaper. I would also say Reaper's movement is pretty good, man. That teleport can get you high grounds. It can get you off angles, can get you flanks, can disappear out of thin air if you use it without, there is sometimes where you can escape with it, but that's really left for your other movement ability. The Wraith form gives you a pretty good movement speed bonus. So yeah, Reaper, his whole kit kind of relies on movement or on different movement abilities. So I think it's pretty good, It definitely helps him do his thing. Reinhardt, the Reinhardt. He only has the dash, obviously, or the charge. I would say it's decent, though, because it has the potential to one-shot somebody. Just for that reason, if you couldn't one-shot... Like, if this was on the previous patch where it didn't one-shot, I would definitely put it and mean it's something. But, it's a long dash. It's kind of easy to shut down. I can't leave it down here, though, because it's definitely better than these two abilities. The fact that it one-shots, you can close distance pretty quickly, get back from spawn with it pretty quickly. It's a decent ability. It's not crazy good, but it's not crazy bad. So we have Roadhog, obviously Snail. 0 movement abilities, obviously, not much to say there. Along with Sigma, you could say his ability is kind of a movement ability. It can get you vertical mobility, but you're not really using it for mobility. You're kind of using it to secure a big team wipe or just get a bunch of cooldowns out of the enemy team. It's not really a movement mobility, but it has vertical mobility. So, I mean, I guess I have to leave it. And I mean, it's something, right? Because it is something. That is the tier, so... We have Sojourn Power Slide. Sojourn Power Slide, this is her version of a get out of jail free card, quote unquote. You can also use it to get like certain high grounds. I know if you know the super jump tech, you can do with this to get a little bit of higher mobility to get on like that Dorado second point. It's pretty good. Or I don't know. It's decent. Is it pretty good? I mean, you can get high grounds with it. It's a get out of jail free card. Yeah, maybe I'm going to leave it in pretty good for now. Soldier 76, his legs, and he also has a mini rocket jump, but the rocket jump, I don't think it's all that great. There are some situations where you can use it, but I think it's decent. Soldier, the whole character is designed around having those legs, taking those off angles, poking enemies down, getting their attention. Then you kind of just run away when you're under fire. So yeah, it's pretty decent. You know, he's quick. He's quick with it. Not much else to say, man. He doesn't have really vertical mobility unless it's with that rocket jump. But at the end of the day, it's not great. You know, it's not good. It's decent. It works for Soldier, and that is that's all we really need to know from him. So Sombra, if it was old Sombra, I would put Schmoving. The new translocator, it's a lot more telegraphed. You really know where it's going, so I'll put it in pretty good. You know, you can kind of throw it to get yourself out of a situation. If you're good with this character, you'll know exactly where to throw it to escape. But yeah, really not much else to say there, guys. Translocator is a pretty good movement ability. Oh, I also forgot she has a movement speed bonus in her stealth, so that's also something to consider with there. So yeah, I'm gonna leave her in the pretty good tier. I don't think she's schmoving by any means, but yeah, pretty good tier for Sombra. Next we have Symmetra. Symmetra automatically goes in the pretty good tier. She can give movement to her whole teammates through that teleporter. That's the only reason. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll leave it at decent. I think it's decent. You know where the teleporter's going. You know where it's getting set up. The enemy team, it's very clear to them where you're going to be teleporting to. The fact that she can bring her whole team with her is very good, but I wouldn't say it's pretty good. I think it's decent, you know? The fact that you can give certain angles and high grounds to teammates that can't grab them naturally is pretty good. You know what? Actually, I'm going to leave it up there. For the fact that it's not a selfish movement ability, the fact that you can grant it to your whole team, it's pretty good. I can't lie. It's pretty good. Torbjorn. I mean, I think it just deserves the I mean it's something tier, guys. You know, it's okay. It gives them a lot of tankiness, but you know, it's not really a speed ability. It's not really a movement ability. It's more of like a hunker down and defense ability. Or if it's like you're on the upswing in a team fight, you can press it to kind of run the enemy down a little bit. It's something, you know, it's something. Actually, I don't know, man. It's a decent ability, though. Next up is Tracer. I mean, there's not much else to say, guys. She has 3 blinks, has a recall, but the thing about her blinks is there's a way, they patched it a while ago, but you can use blink to get upwards on some points. I'm not really a Tracer player, so I can't really say which specific ones. Having those blinks at your disposal, having that rewind at your disposal, you being able to use the blinks to go slightly upwards to get you crazy angles is really, really good, especially on this character that is so hard to hit in general, especially if they use their movement around you. Guys, there's not much to say. She has 3 blink charges, and they charge it every 3 seconds, so it's very, very good. Tracer's just a good movement character, man. A staple of the movement characters, I would say. Widowmaker. It's decent. You know, her grapple, it's used as an escape tool. It's used as a grab high ground tool, grab good angles tool. And that's all it is, you know. It's on a very long cooldown. So, unfortunately for her, she's very easily... You can easily punish this character if you see her use the grapple, if you have a high mobility character. Something like Ball, something like Winston, something like Diva. You guys know the drill. Decent ability. Decent ability. Winston Jump and Primal Rage, right? Winston Jump and Primal Rage. This is a pretty good ability, guys. I mean, it's not schmoving because it's very telegraphed. You know the Winston Jump is coming in. You know it's leaving. So we're going to leave it in the pretty good tier. But, you know, it's nice to consider that Primal Rage. It's a 2-second cooldown during Primal Rage, so you can keep spamming it. Very, very good ability, guys. Primal Rage is very good, as well as his jump is very good, you know? It's just a good, solid engage tool, good, solid disengage tool. Not much else to say with that. Ball. I mean, we already know where this character's going. This character has the fireball, especially with that recent retracting buff. Guys, I don't think you understand how good the retract buff on this is. The fact that you can bring yourself up without using fireball and then let go, slam, and then your grapple is on a 1-second cooldown so you can disengage with it, that is insane, guys. Like, that buff alone brought this character up from pretty good to schmoving to me. I mean, I would say he was pretty schmoving before as well, but Yeah, that grapple, guys. You can just grapple from anywhere. You can use the retract to go even faster. You can blow through enemies with the fireball. I mean, there's not much else to say. It's the fucking small hamster, guys. He is schmoving around the map. Not much else to say. Zarya, she would go in snail right. However, you can rocket jump with her right clicks. So it's something, man. I mean, not much else to say. She's not completely movementless, but it's not that great at all. It's pretty lackluster. But there is very few certain situations where you can use this. Zarya players, comment down below. I'm not really a Zarya player, so I don't have all of the expertise on this. However, you know, it's something. Zenyatta, gonna go in the same tier, you know. He only has the movement during Transcendence. There is certain situations where you can use this, like comboed with Diva Bomb, right? It's very situational, right? But you can use an enemy Diva Bomb and your Transcendence to grab certain high grounds with it. It does not happen very often, though, so it's gonna go in the I mean it's something tier because, you know, I mean, it's something. Ramattra has the horizontal mobility bonus from his Nemesis form and his ultimate form, right? So it's something. I mean, it's actually pretty decent because you can use it to run your teammates down. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty good for that. It's just a movement speed bonus to close that distance, close that gap between your enemies and you. I'd say it's a decent ability, or decent mobility, you know? Very, very decent mobility. Life Weaver, I'd say is that pedal platform, guys, it's pretty good. He's also got the movement on his the lunge he has on like his dash or whatever you call it, rejuvenating dash. That's a pretty good ability. It also heals you during it, so you know, not too bad. The pedal platform, just like Symmetra, you know, being able to give your teammates that high ground. Think of like Watchpoint Gibraltar first, sending a Roadhog up on that very high ground, sending a Ramattra or a Junker Queen or even a Reinhardt up there on that high ground is so much pressure for the enemy team. Very, very good ability to give to your teammates. So I got to leave him up here, man. Got to leave him up here. Alari, I'd say it's decent. You know, it's kind of like the problem with Alari is if you see her use this ability, she's so vulnerable. So I don't want to put it in the pretty good because I mean, it's kind of the same thing as Sojourn, right? It really is. So once you see her use this, she's very diveable. So I think I'm going to move both of them down to decent, honestly. Because, you know, like I said, it's a good ability to get away with. It's a good ability to get high ground with. But, however, when the enemies see you use it, they're most likely going to capitalize on you using it. So, for that reason, they both belong in the decent category. Mauga has the dash, obviously, has his dash. It makes you invulnerable while you use it. Not invulnerable, but, you know, you can't get CC'd while using it. It's a stomp too, so you can cancel abilities with this ability, right? You can cancel High Noon. You can cancel other things with it. Very solid ability, guys. Yes, it doesn't give you any vertical mobility per se, but you can close certain gaps with this. You can jump certain gaps with it too. I can't remember off the top of my head any of them, but you know, it's a good ability. It can cancel ults. It closes the distance quick, lets you get in and throw that cage down. So yeah, Mauga mobility, very good. Venture has crazy mobility, man. She can go onto the map. She can grab high grounds with that fucking drill. Not much to say with the Venture, man. She's all over the place, man. You see this character and you know it's just going to be all over the place. So not much to say with Venture, man. We'll move on to Juno. Now, Juno, she has the double jump. She has her little glide ability. I haven't played around with it too much, right? Because this character's not released yet. So I can't really say if it's pretty good. I'll say it's decent for now. I don't know, man. I just feel like that the fact that it glides on one plane is horizontal movement. She has like the downwards mercy glide, right? However, I don't know. I feel like it's just a little too easy to shoot her out of the sky with it. I don't know. It does give you a movement speed bonus. So I don't know. I'm actually going to move it up to pretty good. While it's predictable, while it's on a pretty predictable and rememberable trajectory, I just, you know, we'll have to see how it plays out more. But for now, I actually think it's pretty decent. And the fact that she has the hyper ring to give other teammates movement is really, really good as well. I didn't really consider that when I first thought about it, but yeah, she has the hyper ring. Yeah, she definitely belongs on a pretty good tier list. Can give movement to allies, so it's pretty good. She's not like Junker Queen where you really want to use it more selfishly. Yuna herself has crazy mobility, and being able to give that mobility to teammates with that hyper ring is pretty good. So that's it, guys. That's the entire tier list. Let me know what you think. Let me know if somebody needed to be moved a tier. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like I said, guys, very, very lackluster off angle today. I'm sorry about that. We'll be back next week with the 3DS episode that I mentioned. So that'll be exciting here. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week, okay? Jerry App signing out. Peace.